welcome everyone. So, I would like to introduce our speaker today. Uh, we have the privilege of introducing Dr. Sarah Nasir, DO, an emerging force in the fields of medicine and entrepreneurship, a dual board certified family medicine specialist, currently specializing in addiction medicine. Dr. Nasir integrates a holistic approach into her healthcare practice, embodying the principles of opportunity preparedness that she passionately advocates. Her journey as a serial and parallel entrepreneur is marked by the launch of a transformative coaching practice. This venture illustrates her commitment to and inspiration from the principles in Luqman Outluq. Dr. Sarah Nasir exemplifies the power of embracing opportunities for growth and self improvement, both personally and professionally. As a dedicated mother and partner, she skillfully balances her professional endeavors with her family life, showcasing the attainable harmony between ambition and personal fulfillment. Join Dr. Nasser today as she shares invaluable insights on transcending limits and harnessing opportunities to lead a life of purpose and excitement. Currently residing in Santa Barbara, California, with her husband and two children, Dr. Nasser works as a medical director at an addiction treatment clinic. Thank you, Sarah, for organizing this amazing. We can't wait to hear, all these opportunities that sometimes we just watch and passes us by, and here we are, looking forward to learn how to not let those opportunities just, slip by us and us sitting there and thinking that what if I had been prepared and be able to grab that opportunity. And sometimes we look back and we're like, we have to do better. We have to always be prepared. Just when the opportunity comes, we are gonna be there, and we are just gonna grab it and take opportunity, move forward, and be able to achieve what we want and desire in life.
Thank you so much, Martini, for that lovely introduction. I really appreciate it. I'm really excited to be here. And once again, welcome to everybody who has joined us. I know folks are trickling in, and Martini's going to be helping me monitoring the question board and the messages. And if anybody has any questions, Martini, if you can kindly keep an eye on it for me.
Of course.
So one of the as you heard, I am Dr. Sarah Nasir, and I have recently started on this field of self transformation and self growth. And one of the things that I think has been paramount in my growth has been that readiness to pursue opportunities. If I was not prepared for it, I don't think I would have gone as far as I have in the past year, which has been my propulsion time basically. So before I get started, I really would like to invite the audience to join us, and get everybody on the wavelength of what this upcoming talk is going to be about. And I want to start the process with a visualization exercise. And so what I would like to do is invite everybody to, find yourself in a comfortable position. We are going to be doing a deep dive into ourselves and connect with our hearts to see which ideas is it that we wish we had opportunities for, and so we can explore more about it. I will be asking you questions about some of the things you encounter as you have been progressing with this, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to keep my eyes open, but I'm going to invite everybody else to kindly close your eyes, get yourself in a comfortable position, and you can, it's best if you're able to sit down, but definitely put yourself in a place where it's calm and you can focus inward, because that's where we're going to be directing ourselves to. So let's go ahead and get started with the deep breathing. we're going to go ahead and take a deep breath in through our nose on a count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. 1, 2, 3. We're going to inhale again. At this time, we are going to pay attention to our body. We're going to start at the top of the head and slowly work our way down to our feet. And pay attention to any tension we may be holding in any part of the body, anywhere. And as we breathe out, try to release that tension. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale and release the tension. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time, and we will be switching to the next step. We're going to be doing this rapidly. And again, 1, 2, feel and connect with the areas of your body where you feel tension. Identify it. Is it in your head, in your neck, in your shoulders, in your chest, legs, hips? And with the exhale, 1, 2, let it go. 3, 4. And at this time, I want you to visualize that you are in front of a big, big screen in front of you. And in the screen, I want you to focus on look for an excitement, a thought that excites you. Today's discussion is about finding opportunities. And in our lives, we all have those moments where we wish that we could be doing something, but sometimes we feel scared or unready to proceed and pursue it. This is the exciting feeling where you feel electricity flowing through your skin, your blood gets hotter, your heart paces faster. It's an idea that's in your head and you can't wait to give birth to it, but as soon as you start to approach it, you feel scared. So notice it. And then what we're going to be doing is now we're going to shift our attention to the voices or the ideas that come up as you try to dive into that exciting opportunity that you want to embrace, but you feel scared to. It could be voices that says you're not good enough, or that says this is not a smart decision, or that you don't have what it takes to do it, or that somebody better can do it, or that you could be showing off, or it can make you arrogant, or it might make you greedy if it's a financial incentive that you're trying to pursue. Listen to those voices and see if there are particular voices, if it sounds like somebody you know in your life, or if it just is a random thought that's floating through your head. And so now imagine all of a sudden you have a remote pop up in your hand, like a TV remote. And in this TV remote, you have 2 buttons. There's a volume up button and a volume down button. And as you are surrounded by these voices and thoughts that say you cannot do it in front of you, go ahead and press the volume down button. Keep tuning it down, 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 until the voices get softer and softer and softer. Now imagine that the voices are muted and you see the mouths moving of the people who says you cannot do it, but you don't hear it. And at this time, imagine next that in your remote, you have a toggle switch come on, like when you have the side view mirrors. that you need to adjust. And with this toggle button, if you push forward, you zoom in, and if you push backward, you zoom out. And we're going to be pushing backward and zooming out from the voices, the scene where the voices that tell you you cannot do it. We're going to back away from it. And remember, we have muted it. After this, we're going to turn back to that exciting opportunity, that idea that we want to bring into existence. And we're going to press the toggle button forward, and we're going to become closer and closer to the scene where that exciting idea has actually manifested. How does it look like? What colors do you see? Keep pushing the toggle button forward until the scene keeps zooming in and in and in until you are present inside the scene itself. You're so close to it that you feel like you are surrounded in 3D version of it. What colors are you seeing? What type of motion is happening? Let's press that volume button up in this scene and keep raising the sound. What type of sounds do you hear? Is it a sound of laughter? Is it a sound of flowing water? Imagine it. Do you see anybody there? Do you see anybody that you want to have there? Now put an image of you there. How do you look? What are the feelings you are experiencing as you're immersed in this 3D vision of your idea being brought to life? We're going to spend a few seconds here. Soak it in. If you feel anything on your skin like warmth or cold or freshness, feel it. And now take a deep breath in and let it out. And with the next breath, we are going to be retracting back from this scene, and it's going to come directly back into your heart. Shift your focus into your heart with the next breath. Find yourself in the space where you can feel the beating. If need be, place a palm on your chest so you can feel your pulse. We're going to now back off and go back into our heart. Deep breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it for a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And let it out. How does it feel in your heart right now? Now that you have brought back that image of your idea being manifest, surrounding you. Does your heart feel full? Is it racing? Is it at ease, or do you feel turbulence? Or do you feel relief? Keep that feeling there. With this, we're going to be next coming back out into the surrounding in front of the computer, and we're going to continue with the rest of the webinar. We're going to Go ahead and do 10 breaths. And with each breath, you're going to come more and more back out into consciousness and into the real world. And by the count of 1, you will be back, eyes open, awake, and feeling well rested. Ready? 10, 9, 8, 7. You're getting more and more superficial. Your awakeness is becoming more and more alert. 5, 4, 3. You're almost at the surface of your consciousness. 2, 1. Go ahead and open your eyes. What I would like for everyone to do who has participated in this activity, I want you to write down what was the idea that you experienced, that you were seeing, that gave you excitement. What did it look like? Is it a project? Is it a venture? Is it somebody, like children, or a partner? Are you able to think about it? And if you are able to share, please write it in the chat. And also, the next question that I want to ask is, what are some of the negative thoughts that were coming up that were blocking you? Go ahead and write those down or think about those. And if you're comfortable sharing, please put it in the chat box as well. And the third thing I would love for you to share is, what were the emotions you were feeling when you found yourself in that 3D surround sound system, where you are standing in the middle of your exciting event? I'll give you guys about 4 minutes to quickly go through it, okay? And I'll turn some soft music on in the background. So once again, we are writing down some of our thoughts, some of the experiences we had, some feelings that we experienced that were exciting, that were associated with the idea that we wish was real, and some of the negative thoughts we encountered when we were trying to get closer to that exciting idea. And for those of you who are joining us, welcome. We're getting some wonderful participation. We're gonna allow 2 more minutes. And once again, I encourage you to share your thoughts in the chat box. Tayeba, thank you so much for your submission. I'm going to go ahead and read it out loud for everybody else to hear. Tayeba from South Africa is joining us, and she said her exciting vision is doing spoken word performance. She does poetry, but she feels her life currently does not allow participation in social events because she has little children. The image she had was where she was doing it, those spoken word performance, and the feeling she had when she saw it. She felt confident and strong as she was doing it. Thank you so much for that wonderful, wonderful vision share. We have 1 minute remaining, and if anybody else is able to share, please go ahead and put some of your wonderful visions in. Anybody else? Okay. Feel free to get those creative juices flowing. Keep them flowing. And if at any time you feel inspired to share, please go ahead and put it in. So how was that? How was that imagery exercise? I would love to hear and see some audience participation. Go ahead and put it in the chat box. I'm going to go ahead and get into the meat of the program, to the concept of Luqman Outluq. So, I wanted to start by giving a background for what the Luqman Outluq, where does it come from? So Luqman Outluq is basically an outlook that I have, I've coined this term. It's basically coming from an inspiration by a historical sage who was a slave in the past, and he was very wise. And there was this one particular incident and story of his life where there was a watermelon given to him by his owner, and when he was given the watermelon, he started to eat it, and he was eating through slices of it, and he was eating it with such gusto. And he was praising the sweetness of it, the wateriness of it, so much that his owner, who definitely held him in a very high regard because of his wisdom and his capabilities, he started to feel jealous. He thought that maybe he gave away the sweetest watermelon that he had ever come across because of the way that Luqman was describing it. Until Luqman had finished through all of it, and there was one slice left, and now the master was like, "Okay, there's just one slice left, so I'm gonna try it." And as soon as he took a bite out of it, it became overwhelming inside his mouth. There was a bitterness that just ruined his taste. And he asked Luqman, "Why have you been eating it with such excitement, instead of saying, like, I don't want it?" And Luqman said that of all the things that my master has blessed me with, or the sweet things that he has endowed upon me, if I complained about just this one small thing, then it would be ungrateful and undo all the amazing experiences that I've had before. How can I be ungrateful at this time? So, from it, what really stood out to me is his gratitude and um, his desire to not let a single drop of blessing slip through his fingers, right? And so that brings me to the next point, where the title of this talk is Opportunity Preparedness. What does that have anything to do with the concepts of gratitude and blessings? So it really inspired me to, like, I've been thinking about this, reflecting on this story for many years of my life. And throughout that, what I've found is that gratitude and blessing, they go hand in hand. So if you look at the modern thought process of abundance and manifestation and growth, what you find is that gratitude is one of the key ingredients in recipe for success. protection of the blessings that you have in your life, as well as growth and creation of abundance. And so, bringing that back to the second concept of where it's talking about blessings. To me, blessings are opportunities, and opportunities are blessings. And when you are able to capture the blessing, like the way that Luqman did, watermelon came to him. Instead of focusing on the bitterness of it, he focused on the relationship that was attached to it with his human master who actually valued him, as well as he was a very spiritual man and he had appreciation for the divine as well. And so he used that opportunity as well to, you know, make the most of the blessing and the connection, right? So, next point that I want to go into is that there are benefits of harnessed blessings. It impacts one in so many levels. It is, if you are able to capture the opportunity and make the most of it, you can make an impact on the opportunity itself by becoming more aware of it, being able to recognize it, and then being able to figure out how to harness it and maybe even reproduce the ability to extract benefit from that opportunity again and again. And as you do that, it becomes more accessible to not only you, but if it is something that can be available to others, it makes it easier for others to access it. One of my favorite example is how the apple fell on Newton's head. I'm a little bit of a geek, but I just find it so fascinating, because he was primed. He was always thinking and taking advantage of the blessings of intelligence and talents in his head, and he had been growing it. When the apple fell on his head, it inspired him to discover the concept of gravity. And because of that, the work that he did, it continued to evolve. Einstein came and he took that concept and he defined it further to develop the equation of energy and mass conservation. And he developed the equation E equals mc squared that has a lot to do with how a body has a force and keeps planets, keeps things close to them and creates that orbit around them. And what that led us to in modern age just a few decades ago, is that we were able to go to the moon because of the apple fell on Newton's head. He was ready for it. And then comes along Einstein, who was also building on his skills, his blessings of knowledge, that he was able to recognize the opportunity in that equation of what Newton discovered, and then he took it further, and then those that came after him discovered how to break free of the attraction of gravity, and then we went into space, right? See the amazingness that can happen from just one small impact, and it just starts with the concept of an apple falling on your head. So when the apple falls on your head, are you going to be ready to utilize your blessings and launch and transcend what we are limited by? Right? And then, so one of the biggest levels where being able to harness opportunity is impacted is on the self. So, what can you feel? Because a lot of us are motivated by the feelings that we have. We might feel accomplished because we are successfully able to capture the opportunity and do something with it. You can feel happier. It's a different level of euphoria when you accomplish something and you're able to convert an opportunity into something that you can hold on to and enjoy and pass on. Sometimes it might lead to being impactful. You can feel fulfilled because you utilized your talents, you answered your calling, and we're all created with a purpose. We all have a purpose. And maybe this is the steps to living your life in such a full manner that you fulfill your purpose. And that in itself is a different level of satisfaction. And for a lot of our audience here, we have, attraction to the divine power. And in my opinion, it being able to take advantage of the opportunities increases your intimacy with the divine, because you get to experience and engage and interact with the attributes and the beauty that is all around us, that is attributed to the divine. For some of us who believe in the hereafter, that there's a life after we die, we will have we as we continue to harness the blessing and harvest the fruits of it, we can send forward goodness not only in our immediate future, but also in our long term future. And that can look like creating legacies, where it can look like raising your children in a way that they are carrying on the goodness that you have started. You can be creating maybe knowledge that continues to benefit everybody else around you, and it can be something that can continue even after you're not here anymore, as well as creating businesses or organizations or structures that can benefit humans, animals, earth, and overall. You might be creating ethical business models that can change the way people live, creating jobs if you're in the entrepreneurial field and that excites you like it does for me. So that being said, one of the reasons why it's important to be prepared for opportunities, I believe it has a lot to do with increasing your capacity, increasing your energy and your strength to be able to capture that opportunity as it passes, as you encounter it. So, one of the images I have in my head when this happens is that of a raging bull. So if the example of a bull is that of an opportunity that is very immense, very heavy, but there's also a lot of impact that can be benefited from being able to tame this beast, as I'm going to use in a metaphorical way. Um, if you're somebody who's just sitting in the chair and just eating hamburgers all day, chances are your energy and preparedness is not at the level to capture this raging bull, you know versus if you're somebody who has been training regularly, building up your muscles, who regularly engages in bull taming, because you want to master and capture this amazing mythical raging bull of an opportunity, you know you have a higher chance of being able to connect with it. So I'm going to steal the concept from chemistry of something called activation energy, which is an energy that's necessary for the state of a chemical reaction to go from one state to another state. For example, water. We all have hydrogen and oxygen floating around all around us. But however, we're not constantly breathing in water, right? Uh, so how does something like two separate gases become something liquid like H2O? So what happens is the either you bring the atoms together by increasing the pressure or decreasing the temperature. That is the basically the scientific area of doing it, right? And so what's happening there is the activation energy to cause these two atoms to come together and recreate the bond between them. You're putting in an energy amount that's going to convert them into um, like a bonded chemical, and that becomes the life essential water product. And so that is what activation energy is in chemistry. Now, in opportunity terminology, think about it that way. If your energy is not at the level of what the energy that the opportunity requires for you to take advantage of it, if it's less than what the opportunity energy is, your energy, then there's a chance that the opportunity is going to slip through your fingers, right? For example, in Luqman's case, if he was not prepared and constantly practicing gratitude, he could have been like, oh my gosh, this is the most horrible watermelon I've tasted in my life. How could you do that? You're so it's disgusting, you're disgusting, and thus a discord would have been created between him and his master. And he might have missed out from being given more and more opportunities down the line. But his activation energy was on another level, where his gratitude capacity, his gratitude energy was so much greater that when something unpleasant like a bitter watermelon came by, he was able to look past it, and he was able to harness that opportunity and make a connection where not only was he liked by the person who had that mastery over him, but also by the person who, what do you call it? The divine. So he became somebody who has been blessed over time. And so, that being said, that's my concept of the activation energy, and thus is the importance of preparedness. And so, how do you prepare? So, if you are just passively going by, there's a chance you will be able to take advantage of the opportunities that come your way, but it could be smaller. Versus if you want to get something bigger, such as when we're talking about careers or dreams that we want to pursue and businesses that we want to create. And one of the ideas that Toyeba said, that she wanted to have her own speaking. She wanted to do spoken word performance while having kids. So it is definitely going to be requiring a different level of preparedness to get there, but it is very possible. And so the way to do it is to recognize the strengths that you have. Identify your strengths. If you're able to recognize your strength, you can keep building on your strength until you're becoming your capacity to take advantage of the opportunities increases. But most of us have weakness with strength as well. And sometimes the weaknesses can get in the way because it feels so big. But if you're in that mindset that you're going to prepare, you're going to acquire, you will end up focusing on your weaknesses by first recognizing them. Then second, you can learn to compensate it by using a previous strength and integrating it into the situation, so you can compensate for that weakness. For example, for folks who suffer from attention deficit, one of the ways to cope with it is to have checklists. Accomplishment, that sense of accomplishment gives a lot of people the motivation to keep moving forward. You figure out what your energy level looks like throughout the day, and then you match the hardest activity or the most high yield activity with the highest energy level of your daytime. And then going back to compensating for your weakness, another way to do it is to acquire a new strength. So that could mean that, for example, I wanted to become a doctor, and I definitely did not have the knowledge base that I needed to be able to take care of people. So what ended up happening is I ended up going to school and getting training, being mentored by others in the arena, and proceeding from there. So all these are leading to, once again, creating new strength and building new strength until you are stronger than your weaknesses and your capacity has increased. So how do you build the strength? You can either build it firsthand by going, by living through it and then learning from your own mistakes, or you can learn it secondhand by going to classes, mentorship, books, etc. One of the important things, if you decide to pursue a road that is less traveled, is to surround yourself with similar people who perform at similar wavelength and have the same level of energy. So finding your tribe and people who have gone through it, that mentorship, because even though those around us that we love and we depend on day-to-day basis, they might not be able to relate to our passion and that exciting dream and opportunity that we wish to harness, right? And so what I've found has been paramount in my journey in the recent years of, going and pursuing this has been that I had to go out and find myself a tribe. So one of the things that I've often been hearing is that, why, because Sayaba talked about kids, as Martini mentioned in the beginning, I have two young kids right now. One is a 4-year-old and one is not even 2-year-old at this time. And um, I've, when I started this, my son was not even 1 year old yet. And everybody was telling me, what is this crazy dream that you're talking about, that you're following? What is this legacy um, hogwash that you're talking about, for lack of better words? Um, Everybody was like around me that you should be at home with your children. But being with my children will not necessarily add quality to our presence, versus, what I saw instead was that being able to pursue a passion that I felt would make me more available to them in the future was going to be more beneficial. And so I had to go and find a tribe who believed in pursuing your dream, chasing entrepreneurship, financial independence, spiritual fortification. What The other word I'm looking for is transformation and self growth. Right? So I had to go and I had to find it. And so I'm going to be inviting you guys to do the same. I encourage you to join me in this journey as well. And I'm going to be handing things back to Martini in a second. But before I do that, I wanted to quickly tell you guys about what is next. So today we talked about everything in a jam-packed way, really fast, interrupted also by technical difficulties. I am planning to host an intensive in January, end of January, for elaborating more on this, taking a few days, spending a few hours to dig deeper into the concepts of things like the different types of blessings, and doing more visualization experience activities to help you connect with your passion project, and maybe by the end of it developing some plans on how to proceed with making it happen. Other activities we talked about, and Martini, if you have that list, feel free to talk about it a little bit. That focusing on gratitude and how gratitude just amplifies more of what you have. Why it is important to, live to the fullest of your purpose. And as your emails are here, I will be sending you more details as it comes up. But I wanted to say thank you to all those who showed up today, and those of you who will watch this later as a recording as well. Because of your support with this first episode, I want to give a significant discount, because originally by itself, the price that I have for this is going to be $12.99 for a 3-day course intensive of 3 hours a day. Planning to do it on Friday evening, Saturday morning, and Sunday morning. It's going to be on January 26, 27, and 28. And we're going to be doing different topics. Definitely, it's going to have a lot of spirituality in it, as well as mental support. We're going to be talking about that, what's called the imposter syndrome, the voices that comes up and says that you can't do it, that holds you back. We'll have maybe 1 or 2 sessions, depending on what the need is, to do that remote control thing, turn the volume down and zoom it out after listening to, is it really real? So basically, what are the limits that's holding you back from being in that mindset of preparedness and harnessing that opportunities? Because we have a very precious life that we live. Time is the one resource that we have that does not come back to us again. Money comes and goes, relationship comes and goes, opportunities come and go. But it is how you harvest that time that's going to bear the fruit that you taste later. And so because of that, I want to encourage for you guys to join. So as I said, the eventual price for these about 12 hours of session would be $12.99. But for those of you who are joining and as an appreciation for sitting through this, all the technical difficulties and the hiccups, I am going to be making the price $299. And if you sign up, I will be increasing the price later outside of this. Price guarantee is if on Friday of the actual event you do it and you don't think this is something you want to follow through with it, by after you do the first day, you have until the end of the day to ask for a full refund, no questions asked. But if you decide to continue on, I hope this is going to be something that's going to be inspiring and motivating for you, as I'll be drawing from all the exciting things that I've been going through and hoping to inspire and ignite that passion in everybody else that I come in contact with. If you have that hunger, let's do it. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Martini to talk a little bit more about the things we discussed and go from there. Thank you, Martini.
Thank you, Sarah. That was a very, very excellent content. I certainly am very curious because, with life, it passes you by, and sometimes you sit down and you feel like there's so much you want to do, and having the passion to do something is the beginning. And to recognize, like we said, to learn to recognize that opportunity when it comes knocking on your door. So this is where Sarah is offering. And I hope today's sort of like a preview to the 3-day event. It will be a 3-day event, and it will be jam packed with a lot of materials and resources that you could certainly use to be able to recognize that opportunity when it comes. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's presentation. And also, yes, do check your inbox, because we are also planning to re-telecast today's session just before we take off on January 26th. We will definitely send you an email, of course, with the program that is going to be on January 26th. You will get all the content, as in, the details of it. So thank you, everybody, for joining in. And we hope to hear from you soon. And we will do check your inbox, because we will be sending you more materials for the coming January 26th event.
Thank you so much for taking the time to join. Everybody have a good weekend. Thank you so much for your time, and God bless.